whispers in the walls. Samantha and her parents had just moved into the old house at the edge of town, a secluded place that seemed perfect for a fresh start. The previous owner, an elderly woman, had passed away, leaving the house vacant for years. It was quaint, with creaky wooden floors and a fireplace that hadn't been lit in decades. Her father said it was solidly built and just needed a little work, yet something about the place felt off. From the very first night, as she lay in bed, Samantha heard a faint whisper, just barely audible in the stillness. She dismissed it as the wind slipping through cracks in the old walls, but each night the whisper returned, growing louder, more insistent. "Help me," it pleaded. At first, she tried to ignore it, but unease began to creep in. The whispering voice seemed to follow her, lingering just beyond hearing, no matter where she went in the house. The whispers were always the same, soft, desperate pleas for help, yet Samantha couldn't identify where they were coming from. It felt as though the very walls were speaking to her. By the third night, curiosity gave way to dread. She pressed her ear to the wall in her bedroom, where the voice seemed loudest. Now, the whispers were clearer, like someone trapped inside the walls, their words muffled by layers of wood and plaster. "Help me," it whispered. Samantha's heart pounded. Terrified, yet driven by an urge she couldn't explain, she ran her fingers along the walls, searching for any clue. That's when she noticed it, a small, almost imperceptible bulge in the wallpaper. She hadn't seen it before, hidden beneath layers of dust and grime. Her fingers trembled as she began peeling the wallpaper away. Underneath the faded wallpaper, a door revealed itself, a small hidden door with rusted hinges and a faint outline that had long been forgotten. Her breath caught as she realized the house had been keeping a secret all along. She hesitated, her hand hovering over the cold doorknob. Every instinct told her to leave, to run, but the whispers had become unbearable. She had to know. With shaking hands, she pried the door open. Behind it was a small, dark room, not much larger than a closet. The air inside was stale, and the smell of rot clung to the walls. In the corner of the room stood a figure, incredibly tall and cloaked in shadow. Its eyes gleamed, reflecting the dim light from the bedroom. "You found me," it hissed, stepping forward, its voice no longer a whisper. The figure's face was pale, gaunt, with a mouthful of long, pointed teeth twisted into an unnatural grin. "I've waited so long." Samantha stumbled back, her mind racing. "Who? What are you?" she stammered, fear gripping her throat. The figure moved closer, its clawed feet clicking on the floor, approaching her with slow, deliberate steps. "I was locked away, forgotten, trapped in the witch's prison for decades," it rasped, "and I've been so hungry." Suddenly the room felt colder, the air heavy with something dark, something evil. Samantha turned to flee, but the door slammed shut with a deafening thud, trapping her inside with the creature. "Ah, time to eat!" it roared, its voice echoing through the walls. Before she could scream, the room went black, and the last thing Samantha felt was a cold, skeletal hand wrapping around her throat.